Hey guys, Capital Games returned from their break and they gave us an update today. So I want to give you guys the update so that way you guys aren't missing anything. There is a lot that went into this actually. And again, I just want to communicate a little bit better. And hopefully you guys can just put this on in the background and understand what's happening. So let's just go through the update notes and then we'll kind of walk through some different things that also happened today. So the first thing that happened is SWGOH shards are now farmable. They are fleet battles. We also got the Forlom shards farmable, and they're dark side hard battles. So those are, pretty important characters, I think, as we start to get closer to the unlock of Bounty Hunter Asajj Ventress. So make sure you guys have those. Also, Rebel B-Wing blueprints are now farmable on a Cantina farm. I know everyone loves those, so hooray for those, right? So that is a really good ship. Do not sleep on it. It is very, very, very good. I would definitely recommend you doing it. It helps out in TW, TB, GAC. It's really good. So don't sleep on that. We also got the kit reveal. Well, we didn't really necessarily get a kit reveal, but Satele Shan was put into the game, and she's going to be our next conquest unit. So for those of that love Old Republic, which is a surprising amount of people, honestly, in this game. So, I know they're living their best life right now. We also got Maul, Fuel Hatred kit as well. And then I know some people, they don't farm until they go into double drops. Well, Omega, the Fugitive, is now accelerated. And then we have some additive drops coming at some point in time. We'll have to, kind of play that out to whenever events gives us that, that data mine. But there was also some bugs and adjustments, but the big one was we're going to have some different grammar there on Darth Vader's dual ends, but doesn't really change anything that happens. They finally fixed the bug. I should say they refixed the bug where Jukasa Nu was just able to kind of throw her rifle repeatedly. They did it for our PvP, player version, but as we started going through the event, some people were also reporting that it still was happening. So that should now be corrected, hopefully, for the second time. So we also got some unit updates, and these are just sort of updates to support Satele Shan coming to the game. So Basilisk Shan. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. If you guys are big Zalbar fans, I'm sorry you're about to go through Zalbar erasure. Like, that's just the way it is. So essentially, like I said, they're just a bunch of the text is the exact same. It's just more or less removing Zalbar. The new final text of her Force Bond, it just includes Satele Shan now in the leader slot. Used to only have Jedi Knight Revan. They're just going to get the same stuff that they once did. Again, occlusion to, or I should just say the removal of Zalbar mentions in there. And then, the allied leader also recovers protection from the legendary battle meditation. Still the same Darth Revan clause applies. And then mission. This one's very interesting because, again, the unique is actually called Me and Big Z Forever. And then what you find out is in Territory Wars. So for the most part, a lot of her stuff is still working more or less the same in her new final text. You'll know if you already had the Zeta, it's actually just now an Omicron. And that Omicron is activated inside of Territory Wars. And it just basically says, while in Territory Wars, if all allies are Old Republic and the leader is a Jedi, at the start of the battle, mission Val gains the Jedi faction tag. All allies gain 100 speed for one turn, and they're immune to cooldown reduction. Whenever mission uses her basic ability, all allies gain riposte for 2 turns. If Zalbar, this is a very interesting way of putting this, but if Zalbar is not an ally at the start of the battle, mission's abilities all consider the leader to be Zalbar. So what this is saying is, as long as there's no Zalbar in the team, your leader is essentially Zalbar, right? And so a lot of what you can see in this unique is that, right, she's gonna, when your leader now takes damage, right, you're gonna gain that offense boost. And when when mission deals damage to an enemy, instead of Zalbar recovering 10% health, it's now going to be Steel Sean. Or Jedi Knight Revan if you don't have Steel Sean, but I'm assuming most of us are going to start using Steel Sean because this is who this is going to be for. It's very interesting too because I think in Territory Wars, there's probably a really good reason why they're putting this in as an Omicron and why we would probably want to have her, here gaining 100 speed for one turn just kind of helps boost you up. However, I think that means that we're going to see something different in GAC. I don't know if a new characters is coming or if we're just going to find something else that works, but Steel Sean is a Grand Arena character with her Omicron. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, guys. Let's go ahead and talk through Maul Hate Fueled. So I'm not going to do a kit reveal. I'm not going to read everything. I'm just going to point out some of the things that I thought were interesting here. Just some things to keep in mind. And as always, as we get closer to the unlock, I will do a let's prepare for them, the series that we've been doing. So make sure if you guys haven't hit the, hit the subscribe button so that way you guys don't miss that content. But we're just going to kind of go through the highlights here. So on the basic, we're going to be able to do physical damage, but we're also going to inflict a stack of bleed. Now, bleed was something that we only saw with, and I don't even remember the name of the boss kind of thing from Geonosis, but that was something we really only saw in that fight. Now, I think this is our first PvP or player, I guess, playable character that can inflict bleed. But what bleed does really quickly is it gives minus 5% speed and tenacity, and they lose 5% health each turn. You can remove one stack of bleed by any sort of health recovery. So it sounds like heals over time, just actual healing, anything like that will help reduce that. No protection over time though. So you can, like I said before, you can stack up to 6 of those. So you could have potentially up to 30% speed reduction and 30% tenacity reduction. You're also going to gain a stack of Edge of Madness for a max of 100 stacks until the end of the counter, which can't be prevented or anything like that. Now, Edge of Madness is just a way for you that you're losing defense per stack. And then once per the encounter, you're going to also inflict Fracture, right? So this happens until the allies have taken a turn or Maul is defeated. Can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. And we all know what Fracture is, so I'm not going to go into that one. Now, the key will be later on in a different special, so keep that all in mind that that's what you're doing on a basic. All right, so then we have Relentless Malice. This is also another one where we're inflicting another stack of bleed, so you have a couple abilities in which you're able to kind of do this and kind of really stack on and reduce their health and all that good stuff. And if they had max stacks, so if they had 6 stacks of it, like when you do this ability, you're actually just going to trigger those to kind of be their damage. So you're going to watch them as they reduce by 30% health damage essentially. And then if you had more than 30 or more stacks of Edge of Madness, you're going to reduce the cooldown of your special, which is really good. So you're kind of also playing into what the cooldowns are here. I think that's pretty much it. And then again, we're going to see a lot of Territory War stuff going on here. And again, I don't want to get too bogged down into the details because we still have quite a bit to go through. And I don't want this to be an insanely long video. But here's the special that we're talking about, a little bit earlier. So Howl of the Broken. You're going to deal physical damage. You're going to daze and inflict healing immunity for 2 turns on all enemies. Already a pretty good thing, right? You're going to call all dark side attacker allies to assist. Now, Maul is an attacker, so he's going to call himself into assist, which means that he is going to inflict a stack of bleed. He's going to fracture that enemy, and he's also going to, raise up some of his Edge of Madness. He's going to gain crit damage up and offense up for 2 turns. And if he had 50 or more stacks of Edge of Madness, he's going to inflict fear on all enemies for 1 turn. Can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. You're going to remove 60% turn meter from all enemies. and all dark side ally or dark side attacker allies gain 60% turn meter. And then again, there's kind of a territory wars, and I think a lot of this is leading us into Kenobi counters, which is thematic in many ways. Now, I do want to bring us down. There's he's got this really unique hatred it sustains, where he's sort of got this Malik, and I think Lord Vader has a little bit of this too, where you have these certain hell thresholds where you're going to gain 50% offense or 25 speed. And then the way that we're going to be able to know that is he's going to have a little indicator above each one. So that way we know, like, hey, okay, he's in this threshold, he's got 50% offense. Or, hey, he's in this threshold, he's got 2,200 defense, which just seems bizarre to me. But okay, we're just going to go with that. So yeah, he's going to be tough. He's going to be really cool. But the one thing that I want to point out, and I think it was actually just kind of their... I think it was like almost in their notes. Just okay. So basically, this is in this unique right here. They are talking about redeemed, right? And redeemed is Juhani's Omicron, which is also a Territory Wars Omicron. So they have sort of taken it upon themselves to stop you from trying Juhani. So I know when I released my Stranger video, we had talked about, hey, yes, we know Maul has to go here. And many people have asked about, hey, well, what about Juhani? She's got a Territory Wars Omicron, and you're automatically using Star Killer. So those two had been paired together in Territory Wars for so long that it seemed natural that like Maul would kind of just fit in there. They've kind of made some design space in saying that they're not gonna allow that. And to their credit, or whatever you want to call it, they're saying that it's because that it actually takes away a lot of stuff from his kit. So they're trying to do us a favor, essentially. They're trying to say, hey, don't use redeemed with this character because it doesn't do everything that it, there's better ways to go about this, essentially. So I just wanted to put that out there. I know we talked a little bit about, hey, maybe Juhani fits in there really nicely. It seems like because of a design decision that they made, that's not going to be the case. Okay, I want to also talk about the elephant in the room, and I'm going to bring this up here just so that way we all can see it. I took this screenshot from my Discord, but I want to thank the guys at SWGOH events, because we had seen this before, but this is really starting to become a reality, and I want to make sure we all are aware of this before we go any further. So yes, it seems like if you just completely stay free to play, you're only going to get a 5-star Maul. And I should say, if you have bought up to 5 stars, or if you have 5 stars on your characters right now. So let's just quickly go through the tiers. Your tier 1, if you have 4-star on all 5 of your characters, and Stormtrooper Luke is era level 45, you will then be able to unlock a 4-star Maul. If you have a 5-star with on all 5 characters, and Yoda and Chewie are era level 55, you will now get a 5-star Maul. If you have it says tier 3 seems to only require 6-star on all 6, and Lord Vader, or sorry, not Lord Vader, the Duel's End Vader needs to be at era level 70. That means you get your 6-star, and at 7-star you need to have the era level 85 on all 6 with 7 stars on all of them. Very disappointed, honestly, in this news. I know a lot of people are as well, because it used to be enough to just get the star levels, and now we have to also get the era levels, which for a lot of era levels right now, at least, depending, how far ahead we can see in this episode or the eras or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't seem like that's going to be a real possibility for us to do. So I just want to point that out, that unless you are boosting up your era levels through crystals or, real world currency, that you are probably only going to get, a 4 to 5 star, whatever the case is that you kind of meet that threshold. I'm hoping that something changes, but I'm also a realist. So let's talk about Satil Shan really quick. And again, I don't want this to become a kit reveal, but what I do want to say is I've read through the kit once now. Oh my goodness. Listen, Jedi Knight Revan is a very strong character. They had to create a lead that would be more compelling than Jedi Knight Revan, and they did do that. So the book on this kit is crazy. It's really long. She is a Grand Arena character, so you have that going for you if you are really into Grand Arenas. But the thing that I want us to think about in this is we need to start shifting on what exactly we think of JML, especially because many of us are using Jedi Knight Revan as part of his squad. I have a feeling that Jedi Knight Revan, removing Jedi Knight Revan from the JML squad is going to objectively make the JML squad worse. It just is. He's great for a mark. He's great for, turn meter swap. He's great for health equalization. He's great for foresight. He's great for a lot of different things. There's really not too much. He's fast, right? Like there's a lot of things that go into Jedi Knight Revan's kit that makes him so applicable, even though he was released in 2018, I think. So just in the future, and I know some people are still using Jolie as well. I just think that those guys are going to come out. Like this kit reads too well for us to just ignore. We're going to want to use Jedi Knight Revan. We're going to want to use Old Republic here, I think. And so I just want us thinking about that, right? As we move forward, and who knows, maybe the next era will have a Jedi that's sort of a lifter or something that can fill in for JML. But just want us to think about that and just kind of give you guys that heads up that that's what's coming our way. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys leave the thumbs up. It's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but there was a lot of news and hopefully you guys just got the information that you guys needed. But subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. I greatly appreciate it. Share with your guildmates and your friends and all the other people. And we'll see you guys in the next one.